I have a bit of a weird relationship with confidence. It's either I have too much of it or not enough of it. When I was a teenager, I think I had too much confidence. I was like really up my own ass in a way that felt like it came off as cocky at some points. And right now, due to things in my life not necessarily working out ideally, I feel like I don't have enough confidence. So I guess I've been trying to figure out how to maybe use confidence a bit more intentionally as a spice, as some sauce, kind of like how I was using suffering as a spice. And I don't even know if this counts as an analogy, but there's this like style of YouTube video where people confess their feelings to their crushes. And it doesn't always go well, but it went well way more frequently than I expected. So there's something interesting to that. That by being dared to do something that gave someone the confidence to actually go and do the thing. And otherwise this person might have just held on to their feelings forever and never like actually gone for it and never known like what would happen. And so I think it's kind of interesting to play with that idea. This idea that you can turn on confidence like a switch. And the thing is I started messing with this when before I got injured, when I was still tricking regularly. What I would tell myself is that the thing that I was about to do was going to be really easy. And for whatever reason, it was. It ended up being easier if I told myself the thing that I was about to do was going to be easy. This is me hitting my first Nordic curl from bottom position, and I just kept telling myself, this is going to be easy, you got this. And so I really, you know, enjoyed this kind of experiment. Unfortunately, it led to me kind of being a bit overconfident when I was tired and not listening to my body and tearing my ACL. So like it's not always good. I guess here's an instance where it's not so great. But at the same time, it is kind of good because throughout my injury, I've pursued art in a way that I haven't pursued it in a long time. I've made more meaningful connections with people. And like there's been a lot of good that's come out of my injury. Let's use this painting as an example. This is a painting that I've had in my head for the longest time. I've really wanted to make this, but I've also realized that this is going to be quite difficult. Um, it's like hair texture that I'm not familiar with, skin tones that I'm like not used to painting, and it's going to be a challenge. And I've kind of put it off because I wanted it to be really good. And through just lots of painting repetition, I started finding a style and a system of painting that works. And I guess it's kind of the same as like working out in a sense. Like the more time you put into something, the more comfortable you get there, and the more confidence potential is built up that you can use. So for this, I finally said, fuck it. I'm going to go for it because I feel like I'm there now. I feel like I'm that guy. And the reason I was painting so much, funnily enough, is that I was going through a pretty intense, I don't know if I want to call it a depression, but a wave of sadness where I painted 5 paintings in 5 days. So that's one painting per day. That never happens. That is just because I was in such a bad place that I had no option but to do so. I had no choice. Otherwise, I was going to explode in like not a good way. And I contrast this with a story of my friend. I was talking to her. She's also an artist. She was saying that she wrote a banger thesis when she was going through a rough sort of relationship situation. And now that she is in a healthy, happy relationship, she can't paint worth shit. But I think that's so funny because I feel the same way. Like when I'm in a good place in my life, I can't paint. You gotta first put in the work to build sort of comfort in what you're doing so that you can have that confidence. There's a quote by some famous figure skater, I think, about, I'm just gonna throw it in because I can't remember it right now.
It all comes down to training, especially at the Olympics, because there are no rabbits to be pulled out of hats at the Olympics. If you don't train, then you can never feel the confidence that you need to feel at an Olympic Games. And that's often the difference.
So build up those recs and put in the work. Did I say recs? So put in the reps. Fuck, what? So put in the reps, get the work in, and then tell yourself it's gonna be fucking easy, and then it will be. You've been here before, you've done the thing, you know you can do it. What's the worst thing that could happen? You end up with a bad painting, or you have to start over. What's the best thing that could happen? You end up with the fucking painting that confirms that you're that fucking person. You're that artist. So I think it's an idea worth playing around with, because why not? What is the worst that can happen? Almost nothing. Yeah, and the good things that can happen are like infinite. So I don't know. People say believe in yourself a lot, but I feel like that's like a really vague direction. So I don't know. Here's another way of looking at that. If you're looking for more spices to add to your art, I made another video over here about how to use suffering to fuel your art, which you should also watch because it's another good painting.